Hi everyone, I'm Corbin and this is Plant Basics. And at the back of me we have Alex. So in this video I am going to go over some common Rhaphidophora decursiva problems and solutions. So the first issue that you might have with your Rhaphidophora decursiva is the yellowing leaves. So we have to say that the yellowing leaves can be a completely natural process. You know, it's part of a plant's growing process where as new leaves start, older leaves will gradually fade and fall off the plant. The issue is normally when newer leaves start to go yellow. So the first cause of yellowing leaves could be overwatering. So overwatering affects the roots of your plant, which then as it progresses to root rot will affect the leaves of your plant. So if your media is very soggy and there might be a smell of decay, it could be a sign that your Rhaphidophora decursiva might have root rot. If you suspect that your plant might have root rot, you want to take your plant out of the pot and inspect the roots. Healthy roots will be brown and white and firm to the touch, whereas unhealthy roots or dying roots would be soft and mushy and almost it feels very gross to touch it, and there will also be the smell of a decay. So cut off all affected roots and spray your plant with a solution of hydrogen peroxide and water to kill off all of the mold spores on the roots. And then you want to plant your plant into a smaller pot to accommodate the new root ball and fill in with well-draining soil. To prevent watering issues, it's always best to only water your plant when the top inch of the soil is dry, and to also always check the cover pot or the drip tray if your plant might perhaps be standing in water and emptying those out. Like most aroids, Rhaphidophora decursiva do not like wet feet. And it's always best to keep them moist, but never standing in any water. Improper light levels can also cause the yellowing leaves. If your plant is in a lower light, you might also see a dieback of some of the older leaves, because what your plant is trying to do is trying to conserve resources, and so if there's no light for leaves to absorb and to photosynthesize, those leaves don't actually serve a purpose for your plant. So it throws off older leaves as a way of preserving energy. You know, this is why if plants are in dark corners, you'll often see them grow towards the light. Plants will always orientate themselves towards light to really photosynthesize to their maximum ability. However, please note that direct sunlight can fade and burn the leaves of your Rhaphidophora decursiva. The next issue you could have with your plant is bleached out and brown leaves. The most common cause of this is direct light. Rhaphidophora decursiva is a tropical climbing vine. It lives on the forest floor and grows up through the trees. So for most of its life, the plant would be protected from direct sunlight. Also take into consideration that direct sunlight through glass is often magnified, so the intensity increases. And sometimes this can just be that little bit that's too much for your plant to handle. And so you start to see the cell damage in the leaves. The ideal position for your Rhaphidophora decursiva is somewhere where it gets bright indirect light, but shaded from the afternoon sun, perhaps by slatted blinds or sheer muslin curtains. The next issue you could have with your Rhaphidophora decursiva is brown leaf tips. This is one of the issues that I have with my plant. Well, it's one of the most persisting issues. And I think this is all down to low humidity. In their natural environment in Southeast Asia, they're used to a lot of humidity. And that's why I think in my growing conditions, the humidity is not high enough for this plant, and that's why it develops these brown leaf edges. So if you notice browning on the tips of your plant, increase the humidity. The other issue could also be the chemicals in the water. Sometimes tap water has a lot of chemicals in it for which these plants are very sensitive. So then alternatively, you can water your plant with distilled or bottled water, which would not have those chemicals in it. The next issue you could have with your Rhaphidophora decursiva is leggy or stretched growth. The main cause of this, and probably the only cause, is insufficient light. So if you think that your plant is in low light or in reduced light, move it somewhere where it will get more indirect light and brighter light. Soft mushy stems. So soft mushy stems are invariably stem rot or advanced root rot, where the rot has moved up from the roots into the stem. And in my opinion, really the only way to save a plant, depending on the severity, is to propagate your plant above the affected area. And I can demonstrate with this plant. This is a smaller propagation of my Rhaphidophora. So if, for example, you notice stem rot coming up here, like this part of the stem was black, you can cut your plant above that, below the next node. So these 2 points here on the stem, these are nodes. So you can see there's a root coming out there, and another root can come out here if this is placed in a growing media or water. So if you have stem rot, cut your plant above the affected area, just below the next node. Now it's important when you do the cut to inspect around the tissue. The tissue needs to be a nice, bright, healthy green. If you see any tinges of brown or black, cut above that again until you find a piece that's nice and green, because you want to propagate the most healthiest piece of plant that you can find, because otherwise you could just be taking the issues of your dying plant into your new plant. And if there's any signs of decay on your cutting, it will most probably kill your new propagation in the propagation phase. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to see more videos like these. I will see you in the next video. Bye.